See now?
Red paper plate talk.
I don't know what that is.
No, you're using somebody's song. I didn't do
Oh,
that tune.
who was
And
that?
someone else's.
That was Sanford and Sons, yeah.
Oh no, Sanford and Son. Oh gosh.
What is
Sorry.
wrong with you?
See you next week. Well, special red paper plate.
Yep, Joshua can do a song for us. I'm gonna have Joshua do us a little song.
Okay. So
Oh yeah,
we're
he gotta
talking
learn.
about today. We're going to unpack a little bit because we're not doctors. Kanye West.
Yes.
Kanye West was running for, he wanted to run for president. He had gone to see President 45 and he came back. He said he was going to run for president. He actually had like a little bit of the little rally to announce that he was going to run for president. Apparently he didn't fill out the paperwork in time, so it's not happening. But he got on stage and he was a little manic. He started ranting and saying all kinds of things. One of the things he said was he talked about the fact that when he and Kym Kardashian West started dating, she got pregnant with their daughter who was North, but at the time he wanted her to have an abortion and she would not, and how he wanted to kill his baby and she wouldn't let him. He said a lot of things. One of the other things that he said was Harriet Tubman did not free the slaves. And so a lot of people were taping him. He said she didn't free the slaves. What else did he say? She didn't free the slaves.
She made them. She gave them jobs. She set them up, and they got jobs from white people. So she wasn't freeing them because they went and worked. But the difference is they went to work for money. They weren't working for
Right.
free. He did say that. He was like, I mean, wasn't it? She just took them up to get another job. They went and worked for someone else. I was like, okay.
Yeah, so that was so he said that. Then he started crying. He just started crying and going on, and it was really
Ugh.
I think the people it was kind of two or threefold. People were saying, should folks have been taping this? Because people were screaming, I love you, Kanye. And one of the things I want to say, when celebrities go out of LA, in LA, New York, people don't get as excited about celebrity. But when you go to a place, where did he go? What city did he go to, Kym? Do you remember?
No,
Chris,
I
can you
don't
look that
remember
up and tell me what city he went to when he was doing all of this? When you go
because
to a
that does
small,
make a difference.
it does
South
make a difference.
Carolina, I
He was in
believe.
South
Oh,
Carolina.
Yeah.
Now, when you go out of the big metropolitan cities where people see celebrities all the time, so it's not that big of a
right.
deal. You could go to a Starbucks and see Chloe and Kym, and it's not as big of a deal. But when you go to a South Carolina, they're not used to seeing big celebrities. So you got Kanye in front of you who makes all of these albums and songs, and you see them on TV with Kim Kardashian. It's exciting. I don't think a lot of these people were thinking, oh, he's bipolar. This is sad. Let's take our cameras and not tape him. It'd be like if Janet Jackson was in front of me saying, I'm going through marriage problems and, my weight. I'd be like, Janet, I love you. I don't care what Janet is saying.
That
She's
is
standing
true.
in front of me and she's talking
That's
about the
true.
worst things in her life. I screamed it at Essence Festival when her father had passed away, remember? And she was real sad. I was like, I love you, Janet. So I think that
Yeah.
people they were caught up in the moment. And also Kanye can ignite a frenzy. He's an artist. So it was a frenzy type of environment. So they were filming him. But Kym, what did you think when you saw Kanye on stage doing all that? What do you think?
Well, the first thing I think is, oh, he's having an episode. That was my first thought. Or, like all people think, oh, he must have an album coming out, new clothing line dropping. Um, but he started saying certain things that made me go, oh, no, this is something different. This is really not about an album dropping. This is an illness. That and celebrities do say crazy things and people in the music industry, but they still know I'm not going to go too far. Um, so it went from look at Kanye to concern. Be honest with you. Yeah.
Go take a shower.
It went from there. Who you talking to and making that face?
Jeffrey walked in with a towel, and I was saying, "Go take a shower." This was happens during Red Paper Plate
But you can
episode.
say that. This is life. You could say that.
Okay,
I
go
gotta
take a
wait.
shower.
Yeah, because I gotta tell the neighbors. Remember, they got my kid.
Okay. I think
Let me
that,
get.
a lot of
Mhm.
people were getting on Kim Kardashian saying, Kanye has suffered from, I think has been diagnosed with being bipolar, and he suffered a breakdown when he was in concert a couple years ago. And a lot of people were saying, even our friend John Murray, TV commentator, put out an open letter to Kim Kardashian saying he's got a problem. You got to do something. And a lot of people don't realize that it's very hard to get a person committed. Even if they're having a manic episode, they tell you unless they have pretty much a knife in their hand or they're going to hurt themselves, it's really, really hard to get them committed. Because one of the things they will ask you, do you know who the president is? Do you know what date? What is the date and
Oh,
time? They ask you a
yes.
series of questions, and if you can answer that, they're not going to commit you. So I think Kim was doing everything that she could. He even put out tweets saying, "Kim, it's like being in the movie Get Out. Kim is coming with the doctor to lock me up." It's even really hard to do that because he's cognizant, he's not hurting himself. So Kim put out a statement. Are you back, Kim?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay. So I think it's just people don't understand that it's hard to
But
get a person committed.
yes, but you got to read. Kim's statement was beautiful. I was like, did she write this by herself? But it doesn't even matter. Her statement was
Tell them what her
absolutely.
statement said.
Her statement basically said that my husband has been diagnosed with bipolar. We really have never come out publicly, but the things that he has said on stage and off stage and tweeted some of his tweets, and that my mother can't be around her grandchildren, um, that I want to get a divorce. She said, I love my husband, but I'm asking the media and asking the public to please be kind and patient during this time because he's not, he's not 100%. And just to be kind, of course, he's a genius. His artistry, the things that he does, they always, every time he says he's going to do something, it does come to fruition. But he has made some statements and some untruths. So give us a moment to reel him back in, pretty much, and um, and get him together. So
You
I
know,
really appreciated that coming from her.
what I appreciated is that Kim Kardashian didn't say, "Please respect our privacy." Now, I get it if you had said that because that is a
Right.
private matter, but
Yes.
they're known for you put your life out there on a reality show. You give us everything. So she didn't
Yes.
go that way. But she did say, please give us some grace. Please give us a little bit of
Yes.
compassion as we try to work through this thing. Because that's if anybody is listening or watching and you have somebody who's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder in your family or your friend, you know how difficult it is to deal with. I got a girlfriend, one of her best friends has been diagnosed with being bipolar, and she was pregnant at the time. And she would have these episodes and they call the police. They would call everybody, but they could not commit her because she was
Right.
not a threat to herself. It was only when she threatened to hurt herself that
Yeah.
they got her committed. And she was even still fighting the police officers and pregnant. And she would sit there at the hospital with her for days while and her girlfriend would go through episodes where she would pick out a celebrity. Kym Whitley is messing around with my husband and she's had 10 children and so it was so difficult for my girlfriend because they couldn't do anything. Now she's on and another thing is the medication. So
Right.
when Kim says a lot of stuff that Kanye dreamed, they were big ideas that people thought were impossible, but they came true. The man has a shoe line with a major
Yes.
designer. He's got a clothing line. It's weird as heck, but it's on Fashion Week. So she's seen things that he says he wants to do when he's in his episodes
Yes.
come true. A lot of people don't like to take the medication because they feel it dampens and puts it puts a blanket over the fire of their creativity. Because
Yes.
there's some pretty, remember Robert Downey Jr.,
Oh
brilliant
yeah.
man, and he showed up in somebody's house speaking gibberish, or was that Ellen DeGeneres's
Robert
girl?
Robert Downey Jr. had some definite issues. I don't
He
know.
didn't
He had
didn't he wake
he.
up in somebody's house?
That's very possible. I do
Yeah,
know
yeah,
he
yeah. I
struggled
think he
with
did. I think
addiction.
he did. But we don't
You
know
know,
if that's bipolar. That could have been just weed, cocaine.
Oh, that
I
ain't.
mean,
using the wrong celebrities. There was a
yeah.
celebrity. Who was that celebrity, Chris? She was a white woman, and she wrote a book how she was speaking in 9 languages, and she was in somebody's house, and they ended up calling the police
See,
on her.
there's
You remember what
I
I'm
but
talking
that's
about?
So Robert Downey Jr. did once get okay. This is from, I guess, the L.A. Times, or let's see.
yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. once got so hammered he passed out in the wrong house.
Okay,
See,
so
hammered,
Yeah,
hammered.
he was held on a
so his was
trespassing
a
charge.
drug. His
Yeah.
was a drug addiction.
Yeah.
But there was a woman who was bipolar. I thought she dated Ellen DeGeneres. Maybe she didn't. And she
Do you
no,
think
it
she
was
ended up in a
who
house?
was before Portia de Rossi with Ellen?
Um,
Who was the girlfriend before Portia?
It was
was
Anne
she an
She was an
Heche.
actress?
actress.
Anne Heche.
Anne
She's
Heche?
Anne
Anne
Heche.
Heche. Yeah.
And
Remember
she
she wrote a book and she ended up in
Yeah.
somebody's house speaking gibberish. I hope
Uh,
that's true because I sure don't have money if I get sued.
I know. I
do
was like, get it
I do
right.
not have any money if Anne Heche takes me to court. So can you check that out,
I'm
Chris, real
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
quick?
I'm searching best I can.
Because I
Anne
need
Heche.
all the little money. We're not getting money from this podcast, and I do not want to
Right.
get sued.
Here you go.
So
I
what?
man, I
From eonline.com, Anne Heche was hospitalized just after announcing her split with Ellen DeGeneres, and this is from August 21st, 2000. That was 2000. After announcing her separation from longtime partner Ellen DeGeneres, Anne Heche was hospitalized Saturday. She wandered into a rural home near Fresno, California.
There we
oh
go. And
wow.
in her book, she wrote she was talking to people. But
And
with the
Fresno.
medication, when they diagnose you with bipolar, it's not just one pill you're taking. You're taking several bottles of medication. And when you take medication, when the doctors because they don't treat the mental illness. They give you medication to kind of calm you down. And Kim, when you take medication, it makes you, either it makes you feel loopy, it takes you out of reality, you don't want to do nothing, it makes you
Tired,
tired,
messes with your libido, all that.
messes
And
with your libido, you get constipated. And when you're taking a few of them, okay, well, maybe the one I took made me constipated. Am I the only one here that ever got constipated from some daggone antibiotics?
I
Sorry.
was like, what?
I'm sorry that you've never had. Well, no, you never want to be.
No.
Or some things make you break out. It just medication has a different effect on everybody. And if you're a creative person, Cat Williams,
Oh,
was going
thank
through
you,
an episode.
Chris.
And
Mhm.
medication. A lot of people say they don't like to take comics. They don't like to take the medication because it does. They don't feel funny. So if Kanye is dealing with that. Like he made an album in a night, just all night. He stayed up making an album, you know.
Yeah.
So
But
you're dealing with that.
but let me say this. People have to understand. I feel for Kanye. I love Kanye. And I knew the Kanye before his mother died. And let me
Oh,
let
before
everyone know.
Donda West
Just and I
passed away.
always say Kanye and R. Kelly because I knew them both, and they both changed after their mother died. And you have to understand, little boys growing up. That's why me and Sherri fight so much to keep our health, so we can be around for our sons. When you have creative sons, and you're everything to them, you're the mother, you're the father, you're the one that keeps them straight. Because if his mama was alive right now, let me tell you something, Kanye would be a different Kanye. Um, but when I played his mother on this HBO thing that we did, this project, so I got to know both of them. And Kanye is a sweet soul, very creative, kind. When his mother passed, it did something to him. I really, people got to understand it did something to him. And I don't know if he was even on medication prior to that, but he was pretty even killed. And his mama leaving him did something to him. So the core of him, let's say the core, the root, the bottom line is we know he is a good person. So that's why I when I see him, I just want to go. I want to hug him. You want to say it's going to be all right.
Did you
But keep
see any
Mhm.
when you were doing the movie with Kanye, did you see any signs of any kind of manic behavior, anything that makes you
No,
go, "Oh, that's why he was acting like that."
nope, never. Kanye was Kanye, and it was a series actually. Um, I mean, and he was a nice guy. He followed direction. He was great in his acting, and
Mhm.
this was, I think, the Amber Rose days were right before Amber Rose, or right in the Amber Rose
Oh, when he
situation.
was
But his
dating Amber
mama,
Rose.
she had a handle on that little man. Like his mama, she didn't play. His mother was a professor, very intelligent. She didn't care your name was Kanye. She, I'm your mama. She was
Well,
a great mother.
that's interesting because I met Kanye maybe 3 times I've been around him, and we
Mhm.
interviewed him on The View. He was wonderful. I saw him again at an award show, and he remembered me and really a nice guy. I don't remember the
Yes.
3rd time, so maybe it was only twice. But I wonder though, do things trigger? It'd be interesting to ask a doctor, can bipolar be triggered by something? Like it's
By
a
a
dormant, like
traumatic
shingles.
experience.
Like, remember I got shingles on my face.
Mhm.
It was triggered by stress because yeah, remember when I got
Yep.
shingles above my
I
eye?
remember.
And I was
Yeah.
like, because you
Yes.
called all those doctors for me because I was
I
freaking
did. And
out.
I sure wasn't trying
I'm
to
gonna go
touch you.
blind. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go blind. Remember?
Yeah.
That's a
I was
very common thing, by the way. It will absolutely manifest whenever stressful things come around.
Stress.
but that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. Shingles is in everybody. It lies dormant in everybody's body, but
Who's
something
had
can
chicken
trigger
pox? Who's had chicken pox?
chicken pox. She said chicken pops.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
Chicken
chicken pox,
pox. Chicken pox.
yeah, chicken
Chicken pox.
pox, it can bring it out. So I'm wondering if something like bipolar, it was just kind of lying dormant within Kanye. And if it came out, even if Donda West was alive, would she have
Mhm.
been able to control that? Because also Donda is his mother. He's married now.
Mhm.
Again, see, that's your thing. You used to having a posse in your house and everybody speaking into your life, and then your
Yes.
boyfriend feels like, Kym, I got to get out of here because too many people speaking in your life and it should be me. So again,
Mhm.
even if Donda was alive, like you say, oh, Donda would have had a handle on him. That's also Kim's husband. So
Oh,
I don't know.
right.
Another,
But there's a different relationship between your mother and your son. Like what a wife can tell a son is different from what a mama can tell a son. A wife can tell a son, he'd be like, whatever. Your mama be like, hey, 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 what I tell you about that? You
yeah, but
you
what's she
you
gonna
you
do?
too different.
Okay, but what was Donda gonna do? Hey, you better put that bipolar back in your pocket.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no, 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 no. What I'm saying is I think the bipolar could have been triggered by her death. I think
yes.
that's what I'm saying. Before that, maybe, I don't think I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but he wasn't this person prior to.
And
And
you, like you said,
mhm,
he's got a great heart. I wonder if Kim feels any kind of concern that the children may
might have it. Of course she does.
might have this, because I have an uncle and he died, and he would go through these episodes. Back then people just said you crazy. You didn't,
Right.
I don't know, Chris, how it is with, I don't know what your ethnicity is. I don't want to say with
White
white
people,
people.
you can say it
Well,
with
it's
Your ethnicity is white
yeah.
people.
What kind of
Um
mud are you, Chris? No, real quick. Sadly, this reminds me, and I have no idea, and I don't want to overstate my relationship with him. I knew him, met him at a All Things Comedy Festival in Phoenix. Were you guys friends with Brody Stevens at all? He was a
I
regular
know
at the
Brody
Comedy
Stevens.
Store.
Brody.
Very extremely talented. One of these people that could have broke along the same lines as Zach Galifianakis. Literally, like could have been that guy.
So funny.
Long story short, he brought joy anywhere he went. Everyone loved him. Former college baseball player, just a fantastic guy. He was so foggy and hurt so bad, he took his own life not that long ago. And I'm
Did.
remembering because the LA Dodgers, shout out to Brody, have put a cutout of him in their fake crowd for these new baseball games. So that's joyous. I don't want to go too far into it, but it's a very common thing, white, black, whatever. I think mental health professionals would tell you it is a problem that it is overlooked in the black community as well, and that's horrific to hear because that means people aren't being served correctly, or it's something that has plagued people, and it's so tough to watch people deal with that. And it's I'm sitting here listening to you all talk about it. It's not even fun to be like, oh, Kanye's a wild, look at this guy. You can't even say it anymore because he was
No,
fun. He was a character to kind of laugh at. Nah, not anymore.
But
He's
not
got needs
anymore.
help.
well, what I was gonna say was not, because this comment that doesn't have a color, mental illness, but what
Absolutely.
in the African American community, a lot we didn't know how to deal with mental illness. We just called people in our family, oh, they crazy. That's the
Right.
crazy one. We never really, going to psychiatrists and psychologists wasn't really in
Mhm.
our it wasn't in our element. Now I think black folks more now are going, we got to pay attention
Or it
to
wasn't
Yeah.
provided
mental
to you,
illness.
to be fair to you all too, or it wasn't even available or in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. Where
Right.
you could go, insurance didn't pay for you to go to no psychiatrist. That wasn't on our plan and it wasn't in our copay. So now, people are really saying we got to look at mental health, because I have people in my family, we just thought they were crazy. They would act out. There's a really big article about, when you're going through bipolar disorder. A writer from Vibe wrote it about Kanye. You start getting you feel like you're getting epiphanies from God. Because
Yes.
Kanye started his church and the choir, and he felt like he was Jesus, and
Yes.
wrote an amazing song called Jesus Walks. And it was, the writer was saying, when you're bipolar, you're going through all of these things, you feel God is speaking directly to you. You feel like this thing, it's a great article. Look up bipolar disorder and God. And when we started talking about Kanye doing this church and what the heck was going
Yeah.
on.
Everybody was like, "What?" But it turned out to be he has a fantastic choir. It's a great. I mean, it's a great experience. You got the church out there. They say if you go out there on a Sunday, it is beautiful and it's a wonderful experience. So even though out of his bipolarness, the greatness that comes through. So
Now,
I mean
see,
that
it's
is.
so funny because I feel differently about Kanye West Church.
Mhm.
It is a great experience. I felt like with the church, people were putting him too quickly on this pedestal of doing
Uh-huh.
this church, because now you've seen all this other stuff happen.
Right.
All of the merchandise he was selling at the church, it was giving you an experience for that day. Was that
Yeah.
experience going to hold you on Wednesday when you want to curse out your boss? Like, what was the gravitas underneath the church? And
Right.
you have a pastor of the church who is, he wasn't the pastor, but he led his church, who's having, manic episodes, who
Right.
now comes in, you're following this man, and he comes in and he says slavery was a choice. I'm running for president, and you running
Right.
around
And Harriet Tubman didn't free any slaves. What do you do
and
with
to
that?
me that's very dangerous, because there are a lot of young people who follow Kanye. And at this
Yes.
moment in time, literally, it's so important, our vote. It's so important, because we have got to, and if you are a Republican listening to our podcast, I hope you don't leave, but please know that Kym and I, we are Democrats, because we want President Trump out of the office. He is
Yes.
a dangerous man. He wants to be a dictator. We say he's a racist. So
Yeah.
if he goes another 4 years, it's not going to bode well for
And it's
black
not going to be
folks,
good
brown
for this
folks, and
country.
then the other
Everything.
people.
It's not going to be
So
good. It has to be good.
it's not going to be good. And I feel like Kanye, at this point in time, we cannot afford for some folks' votes to be pulled away
Way. Yep.
from the man who
But
is
tell it.
running now.
Say it one more time. Explain why, if Kanye runs and gets the young people and people to go follow him, what that will do, Sherri.
It splits the vote. Well, the good thing is, and I'm really, I want Kanye to get the help that he needs,
Mm-hmm.
because it's sad. We love Kanye. He makes, who forgot Gold Digger?
Yes.
You're in the club. I mean, and that's just one of Kanye is so much more brilliant than Gold Digger. But
Yes.
he makes music that touches us, that moves us. He's brilliant. We don't want to see Kanye go down like this. We're proud of him as an African American man who's doing stuff. He's got a beautiful wife and children. He loves his family. So this is anguishing for a lot of people because we don't want to throw Kanye away. But it's dangerous. Thank goodness he didn't make the deadline to get his name on the ballot, because I do believe you saw Chance the Rapper was on Twitter. Black Twitter ate Chance the Rapper up because he kept going, Kanye for president. You two are both very influential with young people. And this is why it would have been dangerous for Kanye to actually run, because people for shits and giggles would have said, I'm going to vote for Kanye. We can't afford to have votes split. Some people just because they want to do it and be fun, voting for Kanye and not Joe Biden. And again, I'm not behind Joe Biden. He is not my top pick for president, but I want him in more than, and I want the other one out more than I want.
But he is your, wait a minute. But he is your top pick now.
He's my top pick now.
Yes. Biden, yes. That's all we got. We picked
That's all
Biden,
we got.
voting on Biden.
Biden is it. We can't afford to, some people go green and some people go independent. It literally has to be, we are all in to one person to get this one, the crazy one out right now. For me, I feel like we got to get Joe Biden in, hold him to the promises. He said he was going to pick an African-American Supreme Court justice. Now, Kym, it looks like he's going to pick an African-American to run as his vice president. Val Demings, please pick Val Demings. So hold his feet to the fire, but get him in. Get this other one out, because I need to keep my child alive. So that's why I think it would have been so dangerous for Kanye to actually be on a ballot, because I think that there would be people like Chance the Rapper, who got a lot of people who follow him, wanting to vote for Kanye. This is not fun and games, what we're going through right now. And anybody who's young and listening, because the older folks kind of know what they want to do, but anybody who is listening to this podcast right now, and I am saying this with such urgency, you have got to use your right to vote. You have got to register to vote. This man that is in office right now is so dangerous. He wants...
even voter suppression. We got to stand in line for hours. We don't know how we're going to fix this. They are taking down all the polls, so it will discourage people from voting. Did you
see how many people just in the whether the preliminaries or the primaries, all those people, they locked the doors on people so they couldn't come in and vote. That was illegal to do, and they did it. Yep. Last time we voted for people, we could have taken the House. We could have taken it, but they hid machines. This president wants to shut down the postal service, the post office. They've been in business for over 40 years through rain, sleet, and snow. He wants to shut it down so we can't do mail-in ballots. Do you understand how much this man wants to be in office and be a dictator? He has secret police grabbing people,
which is illegal.
Which is illegal. That makes me so emotional. Why it's so dangerous. We got to get Kanye help, because we cannot afford people to be split in the vote. Secret police are over there picking up people they don't have identification on. Can you imagine how scary that is? You're peacefully protesting. Did you see what they did to the mothers, Kym?
Yes.
They were locked. They had moms who were protesting peacefully, locking arms, and they sprayed these women with tear gas. Mothers with tear gas. They don't have any identification on. So the moment you say anything, they beat a military veteran. He was a veteran, decorated, beat him and broke the bones in this man's fingers because he came up to them and said, "Where are your badges? Where is your identification?" They can pick you up, throw you in a van, put you in jail. You don't have a right to make a phone call. You can't tell your family.
These are federal agents that are doing it.
These are federal agents, and this is at the direction of the president of the United States, because he wants to be a dictator. Do you understand why you have to vote? important it is to vote, because that could be your child, your brother, your aunt, your mother who gets sprayed with tear gas and thrown into a van and you don't see them again.
Oh no, if we let it go, it will be us. If
And
this
we
turns into a
cannot afford.
dictatorship,
We're
yes,
not supposed, this is the United States of America. We're not supposed to be under a dictatorship. And that's why it's so important for our votes. We got to be Democrat or Republican. That's it. And I'm seeing that the Republicans are not doing anything for us. They're not speaking up. They're not saying anything. This is a man they've already shown that people they put a price on Americans' heads to be killed over there in the Middle East. And the president is not reading the reports and doing anything about it, has not said a thing about it. He's still not addressed the COVID situation. He just is now wearing a mask. He is sending people out to tear gas peaceful protesters. So we can't afford for you to be, for fun, shits and giggles, to be voting for Kanye West because he's over here wanting to run for president. We can't afford.
yes.
The one thing I'm upset about, Kym, is I know you're dealing with the man and he's got the episodes, but don't retweet that he wants to run for president. Chance
Don't
the
do
Rapper,
that.
who's my fellow Chicagoan, don't go out there championing Kanye West to run for president. You know he's got a problem. You're friends with him. For Dave Chappelle to fly out there, thank God for Dave Chappelle. That's a friend. Dave Chappelle got on a plane. I'm going to get off my soapbox about
Oh
voting.
wow.
But Dave Chappelle got on a plane and flew out to see Kanye at his compound just to see how he was doing. Now, I don't expect Dave Chappelle to do anything. He just wanted to show him that he was a friend, that he had somebody to talk to. And it was really nice to see. Nobody around Kanye can say anything because they're on his payroll.
Yep.
So when you're trying to provide for your family and Kanye's paying your check, you're not going to tell Kanye, I'm not doing something for you, because you got to
Right.
provide for your family. So we hope that he gets the help that he needs.
Yes.
He's so talented.
So
He's
let's
such
just
a
yeah.
good man. I feel for Kim Kardashian. I always picture Kim Kardashian. We saw these rants from Kanye a long time ago in the press, Kim. That's why I asked you if you had seen anything when you worked with him on a movie. You remember when Kanye was going off and he said he wasn't going to do a cover of a magazine until he got paid? And he
Yes.
was going off on these rants. Remember when he got on Jimmy Kimmel? And for 15 minutes, you remember that? He got on Jimmy Kimmel, and for 15 minutes, you sat there and was like,
What?
He
Yes.
said stuff to the extent that he and Kim Kardashian were more popular than President Barack Obama and Michelle. And you're like,
Yeah.
come
What are you
come
talking
again?
about?
What are you talking about?
Delusional.
He was talking so much spit was on the corner of his mouth. I looked at that for about 8
Yes.
minutes.
No,
Remember
remember when he went, yeah, remember when he
that
went
white
into
spit?
TMZ? Remember TMZ? He walked around and was talking. I said, Lord Jesus,
I'm gonna say the
help my
silver lining
child.
on TMZ. If you go back and watch him on TV, TMZ, that's when he says slavery was a choice.
Yes.
If I'd have known that, I'd have told my ancestors, well, come on, get out. Get a job
Yeah.
over at IBM. Shoot, if it's a
Yeah.
choice, was you still over there going
Why
massa?
you down there picking cotton? You know you
Why
can go
you over there
somewhere else
picking
and get a
cotton?
job.
Come over and be a stand-up comic, ancestors. When he says slavery was a choice, the silver lining from that was that it blew up Van Lathan, remember? Because Van
Yes,
Lathan
it did.
really took him to task. He's not with TMZ anymore. They fired him and they shouldn't have. And
No, it was great.
Van Lathan took him to task and had to break down history. And see, that's the thing about Kanye and being bipolar. He goes up against people that can't really argue back with him. When you start arguing back with him and he'll back down. And he did with Van Lathan. But I feel bad for Kim Kardashian because I always pictured her, because he's always ranted and raved. We just didn't know he had bipolar. And I said, that poor girl got to sit at the edge of the bed while he paces back and forth in the bedroom, probably talking for hours. And she got to
Yeah.
now one of they didn't have time to have babies. They had to have a surrogate do it. When you can't even have sex, the man talk too much.
He just talking
I
and
can picture
ranting.
Kanye in one of his episodes before they knew it was bipolar, even when they were
Uh-huh.
dating, just talking to her for hours about stuff. And you just, after a while, you just like,
But you know what? That's probably how she got him. They got married. He probably was like, this woman will listen to me. Kym was probably patient and listened to Kanye, but Kym got all them kids now. She's like, I got to listen to these kids. I got to take care of these kids. She got to be a good mother. She got to be there. You can have a nanny, but she has
And
to be
that's
present. Hmm.
That's one thing I would say about Kym. She's got to protect her children. She has to
Yes.
protect the kids. And this has got to be a little bit frightening. I don't know if she's keeping them away from the TV to see their father being like this. We hope that, I hope that Kym can get him into a hospital and he can get the help he needs. The thing that we're dealing with
Hmm.
mental issue now is I don't think that these doctors treat it. You got to be trained in it. One of the things
Yes.
they're talking about with defund the police, I think they need a different word because so many people think defund means taking away all of the money from the
Right.
police
No, that's
department.
not what it
And that's not what
means.
they mean. They mean allotting some of the funds that are
Hmm.
allotted to the police. If I'm understanding it correctly, if you're listening to me or you're watching, leave a comment because I don't want to be wrong about this. If you're listening, you want to leave a comment, you can go to twofunnymamas@gmail.com and leave a comment. But I believe defunding means they want to take some of the money that is allotted to the police force and they want to put it into things like mental health and training, having a
Training.
mental health professional so that when a police officer comes to the door, if you call because you've got your husband is having an episode, there can be a mental health professional that comes with you that knows how to
Right.
deal with this. Because police, that
Exactly.
they're there to serve and protect, but they don't know everything. They don't know how to handle
They don't.
mentally ill
They don't know how to
people.
handle that.
But you don't
No,
want
I
somebody
mean,
who's mentally ill, like you said one time when somebody
mhm.
was talking to you. You don't want to have to call them on your cousin who's having a bipolar episode, and then your cousin ends up getting killed because the
'Cause you done
police have
shot.
shot him
Right. Right.
because they don't know what to do. So they just shoot them and they don't recognize any
Yes.
of the signs. So I think that's what defunding the police means. Not taking away the all the money for the police,
No.
not having police, but just taking
No.
some of the money that's allotted. They,
Yep. A lot of money to another
to,
department,
to
another
other
area. Yeah.
other areas that they're not trained in. And I'm not speaking for police. I don't know how much money y'all make. I know it's one of those civil servant jobs that in the African American community, remember people was like, be a police officer, work for the
Yeah.
government, work for the post office,
Be
be a
be a
teacher.
teacher. Yeah.
Because it was just it was known where you made good money. It was stable money, you had your
Yep.
benefits.
Stable money, you got your
So
benefits.
they got a very
Yes.
powerful union. They have a lot of money flowing in, and they're saying just take some of the money and allot it for professionals who can assist the
Right.
police do what they
So
do.
in all that, since we went from Kanye to defunding the police, but it's all about mental health. We want to make sure we're keeping that in a nice little bubble there. So you all like,
Yeah.
look at him going off topic again. No, this all has to do with mental health
It all
and
has to do
our
with mental health.
concern.
And we're two funny mamas, but we have, we still live in this world and things are happening to us as
Yes.
mothers and we have children that we want to see people thrive. So we do talk about this, like the woman said, y'all don't talk about nothing. Yes, we do. If you just stick with us, you gonna
But
get
I think she
something.
liked that we didn't talk about nothing. That's what I got from it. She's like, y'all don't talk about nothing. So I just listen because we not, you ain't got
It
to
was
get heavy with
KK
it.
3382 who said this podcast
Yeah.
is about a bunch of nothing. Now, if you're listening today, KK 3382, you would have gotten the urgency of we're talking about voting, dictatorship, secret police, why it's important to vote. Kay Darshale who said it's too
And
chaotic
nothing.
and nothing. And so that's what we give all the love to Kanye. I believe, Kym,
Yes.
we should give Kanye grace and compassion and let this
Yes.
family try to deal with this. It's got to be heartbreaking for all of them. It's just heartbreaking to deal with. If you got a friend or a
Yeah.
family member, it is heartbreaking because it's out of your control. You feel like there's nothing you can do. And like I said, doctors need to be trained in how to deal with this instead of just medicating
Yeah.
people because we love Kanye and we're standing with you on this, Kym. I know you love your husband. You
Yes.
got 4 babies with this man and
Yeah, we stand with you, Kim Kardashian and Kanye and the whole family. And we hope that you all
can
get
you look
through
into the
this.
camera while you say that so we know you sincere?
Oh, I was just thinking and talking. We stand with you, Kim Kardashian, and the whole family, and Kanye. And just know that you have people out here that do support you and care about the outcome. And we don't want to see anything happen to Kanye or your family. So we
Yeah, we
give
don't want him
you
to hurt himself. We want him to
yeah.
we don't want to hear anything bad. We don't want him to hurt himself because we're looking at these tweets. And Donda, if you up there and you're looking at Two Funny Mamas podcast, can you maybe lay your hands on your son? Tell him it's gonna be
That's
okay.
right, Don the West. Go ahead. Check on
Just so
your
you know.
check on your baby boy.
But I think that was it with Kanye. We love him and we're with him. And before we go, how you like my hair? How do you like my hair? I tried a new wig today. You don't like it.
I,
Because
I,
you know why
I'm,
you don't like it? Because I look
I'm
like Sandy from Human Resources.
Yes, you know what? It's a different look, Sherri, but you also have on the little purple shirt with the tie around you. And the little short blondish wig is cute. But it's I mean it's okay. You're not sexy, but you're giving like it was a great conversation with you about voting and okay, that's better. That's a little cute. But maybe you should have put on like a rock t-shirt, like a funky t-shirt with it. But the fact that you put on a silk blouse, I don't even know if I have any
Oh, you
blouses.
know what? Oh,
Yeah,
that was a
you
big
put on a
fail.
blouse. Yeah,
Kim,
you
you
put on
know
a
what?
blouse with the short
I can't
wig
even.
blouse.
This is why you need your girlfriends because you're right. Had I put on a really cute t-shirt, it would have been like funky. But now
Funky.
because I have on this pink shirt because I was trying to put on a colorful
First,
thing,
first of all, what color is your shirt?
purple.
What you said pink.
Oh, did I say pink? I meant purple.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Oh,
Welcome to
boy, it's
53.
time to end this podcast. I
No,
know Chris
wow.
is like, what's wrong with her?
Oh, I wouldn't
I
say
meant
anything like that about Chancellor Sherri, who just told me my transcripts aren't going to work out.
I do look like I'm telling you your financial aid didn't come in and I don't know what we're going to do, but you can't go to this college anymore. And I look like I'm about to fire you. Come here, sit down. So
Yes.
What's my
I
mom
do.
going to say?
And so this is what I'm going to do. And listeners, sometimes I'm sensitive, sometimes I'm not. This hair is from I had a wig line called Sherri Now, and it was part of my wig line. This was one of my top sellers on QVC. And I would sell these wigs. And I don't have my wig line anymore because the investor of it ran off with all of the money. And
Okay.
I can't, so this is the only wig left in my line. It was sitting on a wig head. And I said, well, let me try to wear it. This was literally one of my best sellers on QVC, except the women on QVC, they liked it like this. They liked the thing out, like the little point that your auntie
Oh
be
yeah,
doing.
that's cute. Now
They
why
would do
don't
the
you
little,
like it like that?
because it reminds me of my auntie.
It's
So
like
I tuck it behind my ear.
1996.
I like it
T-Boz.
tucked behind. And if you're listening, you can't see what we're talking about. You got to come to the YouTube channel. But I don't like it, auntie. I like it like hip, which is why it would have looked better with the t-shirt.
Yes. If
T-shirt.
you'd have put the
So what I'm
t-shirt on,
going
it'd
to
been
do, I'm not giving up on anyway. So he ran off with the money and he left me high and dry and he owes me a lot of money. And I didn't take him to court because I was told that, he could file bankruptcy and then I had to get in line and I was going to spend a lot of money trying to. Daisy Fuentes also had a wig line with him and he swindled her. So I don't have my wig line anymore. And I didn't take him to court because Kym, I went through a very expensive court. Look, now I can't see. A
divorce.
really expensive court
Yeah.
battle with my husband
Yes.
and spent a lot of money. And I just was like, when you talk about going to court, I get hives. I can't even deal with it.
Yes. It's a trigger.
But I'm not giving up on this wig. I'm going to wear this wig, our next podcast, with a really funky t-shirt. Maybe by
Yes.
that time, Chris will have sent us some more Two Funny Mamas merchandise. And I'll wear the t-shirt.
I'm waiting on the t-shirt that fits me also, man. I got to lose weight to put on those shirts.
Because you can go, so we've ended our red paper plate. I don't think we did a proper ending.